Okay, so now we're going to start on our HTML. And right now we just have this H1, so obviously we want to replace that. Now what I like to do, if you guys have taken any courses from me, like my HTML CSS course, Bootstrap, or anything like that, you know that I like to build in sections. So we use the HTML5 section tag. The top here, this is going to be the hero section. And then we have the snippets section, which is this part here, the features section here, and we'll just keep going down and building in sections. Now this layout is pretty easy because it's pretty much just, we do have some alignment with Flexbox, but there's no crazy grids or anything like that. So it's a pretty simple project. I think it's a great first project, and we will use some Tailwind directives and do a little customization. So we'll start off here with the hero section, and I like to just comment everything really nicely as well. So let's say section, and I'll give these an ID as well, even though we're not going to really need these IDs for anything, just to say what it is. Now, most of the projects will have a hamburger menu, so we'll create a regular navigation and a hamburger navigation with some JavaScript, but this project doesn't have that. There's no menu at all. All right, so let's see. We want to start off with the container for the logo and the text and the buttons. So let's do that. We're going to do a max width on this of 6 XL. Okay, and I'll show you exactly how wide that is in a minute, but we want to move everything to the middle, so MX Auto, and then we want to text center everything, and then as far as margin for this hero, we're going to do margin bottom 40, and then for padding on the x-axis, we're going to do 10, and padding top, we're going to do 16. Okay, so that's the main container for this hero section. And we'll just put a hello in here for now. And I just want to show you that if we open up our DevTools and go to Elements, the max width 6XL is going to be, let's see, it's a max width of 72 rem. Okay, so it's a fluid layout, meaning it'll adapt to whatever screen size up until 72 rem, and that's going to be the max. Now we're going to have our image, the logo image, and we're going to have just a couple classes on this. I want to make sure it's in the middle, so we'll do MX Auto, and let's also we'll do margin on the y-axis 16, and this is going to be in images / and it's the logo.svg image. Okay, now again, you can put the SVG directly in, so if you wanted to, we could just take this and we could add it here. Let's see if we add that, and then we take the class and put that on here and get rid of that. And if I save, we get the same exact thing. But I don't want to do this just because I don't want to clutter everything up with SVGs. So we're just going to go ahead and use an image tag. All right, so that's our logo. Underneath that, we're going to have our H3. So this is going to have a few classes. Now, there's going to be a lot of these H3s with a lot of the same classes. So what we'll do is afterwards, we'll create a directive. Not a directive, but we'll use directives to create some default styling on the H3, so we don't have to keep repeating all the same classes. But for now, let's just add them. So we're going to have a margin bottom. Let's do MB8, and text, we'll do 4XL, and we want font dash bold. We want the text. Now we have a custom color called dark grayish blue, so we're going to use that. We can say dark grayish blue, and you could use this with text, you could use it with backgrounds, borders, anywhere where you can use colors, you can use these custom colors. Now on medium screens and up, we're going to make the text a little bigger, so we're going to do 5XL in that case. Okay, and as far as what the text says, let's just, I'm just going to copy it. a history of everything you copy. Okay, so yeah, it should look like that. All right, now the next thing is the paragraph underneath. So let's see, under H3, we're going to do a paragraph. We want this to be a little more narrow, so we're going to do a max width here of 3XL. Okay, the container is 6XL. And we want it in the middle, so MX Auto. We want some margin bottom to add some spacing. The text size, we're going to do 2XL. And the color, we're going to do text grayish blue. All right, so my goal for this is you guys should know all of these, what all of these classes do. And hopefully if you went through the whole sandbox in those two sections, that should have taught you a lot of what we're doing here. So let's see, I'm going to copy the text and paste it in. And let's save that. All right, so that looks good, looks nice and clean. Now we're going to create the buttons. So we have two buttons underneath like this, and they're going to be basically a flex column on small screens and then a flex row on medium screens and up. So let's say, I'm just going to say button container. And that's going to be, like I said, flex. It's going to be flex, and it's going to be a flex column by default. And then let's justify center. And we want the width of this to be full. And the space between on the y-axis, let's say 6. And for the text size, let's say text XL and text dash white. And on medium screens, we're going to want the flex to be in a direction of row. Okay, and then also on medium screens, we're going to do space on the y-axis. Space between items is going to be 0 because we're no longer in a vertical fashion. All right, so we want to add some space on the x-axis items. So space X will be 4. All right, and in here we're going to have our two buttons. They're actually going to be links, just formatted as buttons. So an A tag, let's say padding 4. Let's do PX8. We're going to do rounded dash full, so really rounded corners. Shadow is going to be large, and we're going to do background color of strong cyan, which is a custom color we created. And we'll do a duration because we're going to have a hover, so we'll say duration dash 200. And then on hover, we want to set the opacity. We'll do opacity 80 on hover. Okay, and then this link isn't going to actually go anywhere. And then the text in the link is going to say download. We'll say download for iOS. Okay, save that. Good. So the opacity changes and it's smooth because we have a duration. All right, so now the other button is very similar, so we'll just go ahead and copy that down. And let's change that to download for Mac. And let's see, the only thing that we're really going to change here is the color. So instead of strong cyan, is it cyan or cayenne? I think it might be, I think it's cayenne. I don't know. I should know. So we're going to make the color of this light blue, which is also a custom color. All right, so yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So the last thing we want to do for the hero is the background image. Let's just see how this looks. Yeah, so that looks good. And the background image is, you can see back here, it's like, I think it's a design, or is it mountains? I'm not sure. So yeah, we're going to have to just add a little bit of custom CSS. And whenever you want to add custom CSS, it's going to go in this file. So let's open that up and let's go down here. And we're going to add it on the body, the background image. So let's say body and background image is going to be a URL. And let's see, that's going to be in // images slash, and it's called bg header desktop.jpg, because it's going to be, I'm sorry, .png. It's going to be different depending on mobile or desktop. And then let's add a background -repeat, set that to no repeat, and then let's add a background size, and we're going to set that to contain, and let's save that. So now you can see the background image here. And like I said, we're going to use a different image on mobile screens. And also, what else did I want to mention here? So there are background classes we could use in Tailwind, but since we're putting the background image here, because there is no class where you can actually define the image, but since we're doing that here, I'm just putting these two styles here as opposed to using the Tailwind classes. Now I'm going to create a media query here for the mobile image. So let's say media, and let's say on a max width of 5, we'll do 576 pixels. Then we want on the body, on the body, we're going to have, let's grab this right here, we're going to have a different image. So I'm going to just paste that in, and let's change it to, this one's going to be bg header mobile.png. Yeah, so now on mobile, you'll see the image comes down more. So it's a separate image. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. It looks nice and clean. So in the next video, we'll continue on with what's next? We have the snippets section.